This video is made possible by our loyal Patreon supporters. Visit patreon.com. Be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos.
Hello, welcome back to Yoga with Jess. Today in this video, I'm very excited to help you break down and understand how to do supported headstand or Shirshasana. Now, headstand has many benefits, including calming the nervous system, nourishing the brain cells, and also regulating hormones in the digestive system. So when you're ready, meet me on your mat. So we're going to begin lying down on our backs today. So just bring your feet to the foot of the mat, head to the top of the mat, and tuck the knees in towards the chest and give yourself a few rocks and rolls here to massage the spine. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then as you relax down, start to kick the legs a little higher, arms resting down on the mat. And then eventually we're gonna pop up into shoulder stand, Sarvangasana. You can bend the elbows and bring the hands to the sacrum or low back to help support your shoulder stand. And basically, we're just lifting the legs up into the air, squeezing the legs together, engaging the glute muscles. And you should see your big toes right over your face. Shoulder stand is really good practice for headstand, as you can start to feel this inversion, start to feel that sensation of the blood draining out of the legs, and just kind of get used to being upside down before we come onto our heads. This is a really great posture. You can kind of relax here and just experience that sensation. We're gonna press into those elbows, keep lifting the hips nice and high. So one straight long line from the toes all the way down the legs into the hips and then towards the shoulders. Breathing here. And then as you're ready, let's slowly bend the knees, remove the hands away from the low back, and we'll take a few more rocks and rolls. And then as you're ready, rock and roll up to a seated position, and we'll come over onto our hands and knees and meet me in down dog. Now, if you like, which I find kind of fun, you can rock and roll straight into down dog. So from our rockin' and rollin', start to sit up, touch the feet to the mat, and then slowly shift the weight forward, press the hands down on the mat, and jump the legs back, downward facing dog. All right, so let's take a few breaths here in our down dog, really spreading the fingertips wide, externally rotating the biceps outward, and just sending those hips nice and high to the sky as we press the heels down into the mat. This is a really good warm-up posture for headstand. We're stretching out the back of the legs, allowing the neck and shoulders to relax here, maybe shaking the head. Make sure you're nice and relaxed. And just to test out where you're at, let's start to drop the forearms down to the mat here. Feeling that nice big shoulder stretch, shoulder opener. And then press back up, down dog. And then lower the forearms down. And then slowly come back up. Start to feel those shoulders engaged as we're going to be working them a little bit more throughout this sequence. On an inhale, let's come up to the tippy toes, round the spine, and start to send a wave-like motion through the body as you shift the weight forward. And you might need to step the feet back a little to come into a plank position or top of a push-up. So pressing into those palms isometrically, bringing your hands in towards one another so you're engaging the inner arms and biceps here. Low belly sucked in, one long line of energy from the crown of the head shooting down the body out those heels. Everything's turned on and working here. And on your next exhale, let's drop down to the forearms again. So every time we come to the forearms now, practice really pressing into those forearms, pressing into the palms, and sending the chest and shoulders away from the mat. This is gonna be really good practice for our headstand coming up later on in this video. So we don't wanna slump down here, really pressing away, using the strength of our arms and our back to lift here. inhale, let's come back up to plank, pressing into those palms. Nice straight arms here. And then again, lowering down, forearm plank. You didn't think you were gonna get a core workout, did you? Well, guess what? Everything's working here, especially the core, nice and fired up. But again, we really wanna practice that shoulder pushing away from the mat. And then coming back to plank, let's push it back, downward facing dog. Now stepping it up a notch, let's drop down again to the forearms and start to walk the feet up towards the elbows for dolphin. You'll notice the weight starts to shift forward here. Try to keep the body up and over those elbows. Again, lifting up off the mat here. Feeling the shoulders engaged. Breathing through anything that's tight or uncomfortable. And let's bring the knees down to the mat for just a moment. And I want to show you the cradling that we're going to do with our hands later on in headstand. So basically you clasp the hands and then the pinkies are going to hurt if you're pressing in a lot of weight into them. So you want to take that bottom pinky and just tuck it in underneath your other pinky. It could be the left or right, whatever's comfortable for you. So using that nice clasping grip here, let's inhale, lift those hips back up to the sky. And again, just practice pushing those forearms into the mat, sending the upper body away from the mat as you lift, elongating the neck here. Breathing. And then slowly lower back down to the knees, untuck those toes. We'll come up to a seated position. Let's take a few shoulder rolls here. We're really working the upper body and the shoulders there. And now we're gonna move into rabbit pose, another great practice for coming into headstand. So start to bring the top of the head down to the mat, nice and close to the knees. Arms wrap around towards the heels, and grabbing those heels, start to lift the hips high until you feel a really nice spinal stretch here. This is good practice just to start to feel the body weight in the top of the head. This is where we're going to be for headstand. Trying to straighten those arms as you grip the heels and keep lifting those hips higher and higher. And then as you're ready, slowly lower down, coming out of it the way you came in, rolling up one vertebrae at a time here. So now the body should feel nice and warm, and let's get ready to get into headstand. So we're all going to be at varying levels in our practice. I'm going to demonstrate going over to the wall and showing how to build a supportive foundation with your mat. But if you're really advanced and you feel confident coming into headstand exactly as you are, you don't need to go up against the wall. So just follow me or stay put, whatever feels good to you today. So now I'm going to take my mat and face the top of the mat over towards the wall. And then we're gonna come back on our knees, clasp our hands as we did before, tucking the pinky under, and then place the knuckles about 2 to 3 inches away from the base of the wall. Now I just wanna make sure we have the proper hand clasp in case you didn't see before. So basically we're gonna intertwine the fingers, clasping all of them around one another. And then those pinkies are gonna start to hurt if you're pressing into them. So we wanna take that bottom pinky and just tuck it inside the top one. So you're creating kind of like a little basket with your hands. And once you're down there, you can kind of play around and see what's comfortable for you. Basically just don't wanna be like cutting off the circulation in our pinky finger, right? So creating that clasp, bring it back down to the mat, about 2 to 3 inches away from the wall. And we want to make sure our elbows are pretty much underneath the shoulders. We don't want them too far apart or too close together, creating a triangle between your hands and your elbows. So with that triangle that we just created, let's tuck the toes under, start to lift the hips, and place the head inside the hands, rolling onto the top of the head like we practiced in our rabbit pose. Slowly start to lift the knees off the mat, straighten the legs, and then walk the feet up towards the elbows like we did earlier in dolphin. Now Now again, we want to practice pressing into those forearms to lift the shoulders away from the mat. So we don't want to be slouching over here. Really pressing away, nice and lifted. You could practice maybe lifting one knee off the mat and then pressing into those forearms. Lift the other knee up. It might take you a few tries here to balance, and you know the wall is right behind you just in case. So really start to engage the core here, squeeze everything into the midline, and focus on a spot that's not moving. And then slowly as you're ready, experiment straightening those legs up to the sky, like we did in our shoulder stand. Always breathing. So there you go. We're in supported headstand, Shirshasana. So just pressing into those forearms, lifting everything up. Imagine someone came and grabbed your ankles and is pulling you up towards the sky. And again, you might need to bend the knees, know the wall's behind you, and you could start here, and then maybe slowly lift one leg off the wall, and then the other. Woo. Knowing it's there kind of allows you to play a little bit until you get nice and comfortable lifting off the wall. Now, the longer you can hold this posture, the better. Again, some of those benefits. As we're massaging the head here, all the weight is coming into the head and the forearms. So we're nourishing the brain cells, and it's also really good to drain the fluid and the blood out of the legs since we're standing all day or sitting in our cars or at our desks. So even if you practice up against the wall and you're just practicing lifting one foot up at a time and then the other, you'll get those same circulatory and lymph benefits. Now, if you're here and this is no problem and you want to step it up and make this a little more advanced, let's come into a nice pike position here, or Urdhva Dandasana. So start to engage the core, send the hips behind you, and see if you can lower the legs down into a pike position. From there, engage everything and slowly start to send the legs back up tall. And that's a good drill to practice. Another advanced version of this pose is starting to revolve or twisting the hips over to one side. And then coming back to center, and then maybe twisting to the other side. Still pressing down through those forearms, cradling the head here, lifting the neck and shoulders away from the mat. So some drills to try. One last option would be an inverted lotus pose. So bending the right knee in towards half lotus, if this is available to you, just something to try. And then taking the left leg and trying to wiggle that heel inside, like so, and then lifting the knees back up towards the sky for an inverted lotus. Always pushing away from the mat here, really pressing evenly into both forearms. Maybe you're wavering and wobbling a little bit. It's totally normal. And then slowly coming out of it the way you came in, extending one leg, and then the other, back into this supported headstand. Okay, now coming out of this is really important. We want to go nice and slow, coming out of it the way we came in. And you can pike those legs down like we did earlier if you like. Come down that way. Or what I like a little bit better, it's a little safer. Bend those knees in towards the chest, and then slowly start to unwind, bring those heels, feet to the mat, and release. Allow the neck and shoulders to relax down on the mat. Now slowly coming out of that, start to round the spine, sitting up one vertebrae at a time. Taking your time here, and then rolling the shoulders back as you arrive. Now you might feel a little dizzy or lightheaded. That's totally normal. We just had fresh oxygen and blood flooding our brains. So just take a moment to sit with yourself and recalibrate, and then we'll do a few counter stretches. So the first counter stretch will be child's pose. I'm gonna move back a little bit away from the wall. And then just coming back the way we were there, leaning the chest forward over the legs, extending the arms out in front of you. Resting the forehead into the mat. And just allow everything to sink down into the floor as we stretch the low back here, stretch the shoulders. Another option too, you could bring the hands around towards the heels and just allow the shoulders to kind of relax. So we did a lot of arm work there. Stay here as long as you like. You can even massage your forehead a little bit by looking left to right. And then as you're ready, again, slowly rounding up one vertebrae at a time, rounding the shoulders back, arrive in your seated position. Now let's take the hands, clasp them behind your back, and slowly start to roll the shoulders back, pinching those shoulder blades together as you lift the heart up to the sky and stretch out the tops of the shoulders and the sternum here. Oh, that feels good. And then slowly release, unclasp the hands, maybe a few more shoulder rolls, and we'll end with a little neck stretch since we put a lot of pressure on the neck there in our Shirshasana. Let's inhale, lift the arms up high. Nice big breath here. Exhale, left hand comes to the outside of the face, right arm down to the mat, and then slowly draw the face over towards the left shoulder. This should feel really good along the side of the neck, and with the fingers tented, you get that long extension all down the right side. Now you can put as little or as much pressure as you'd like in your hand, just so you're feeling a really nice neck stretch after all that pressure we put on our neck in our headstand. On your next inhale, remove the hand, start to look down towards the armpit and grab at the back of the skull, now pressing the face down on a diagonal and really feeling a nice stretch along the back side of the diagonal neck. Breathing into any tightness here. This is just a really nice neck stretch to do at any point of your day. Just take a minute or two, stretch out the neck. It feels so good. And slowly release the hand. Maybe take a few half circle rolls. And then come back up to center. And we'll do the other side. Inhale, arms up. Expanding through the rib cage here, sitting up nice and tall. And then exhale, this time the left hand comes down to the mat, right arm comes to the side of the face, and slowly pull the right ear down towards the right shoulder. Growing long through those left fingertips as we stretch out the left side of the neck. And still sitting up nice and tall here. If this is uncomfortable for your ankles or heels, you could always sit in a nice cross-legged position. And then inhale, release that hand, look down towards the armpit, grabbing the back of the head here, and then pull the head as little or as much as you want. You really feel that nice stretch along the back side of the neck. Just letting go, unwinding from that crazy inversion that we just did. A lot of fear sometimes comes up when we go upside down. So just recognize it. You did a great job. Just had some fun experimenting, seeing where you're at today. And then let go of that hand and take a few more little rolls if you'd like. And then coming back to center, one big shoulder roll. And you've arrived. Great job, yogis. Thank you so much for joining me today for this not easy video on how to get into a headstand. If If you like this video, please subscribe to the Psychetruth channel. I'd love to hear your comments and feedback, so please leave that below. For more advanced yoga tutorials like this one, check out Psychetruth Plus. There you'll find hundreds of videos that you can't find on YouTube. And if you want to learn more about me and my practice, please visit my website, comingohm.com. I'll see you soon on your mat. Namaste.
Introducing Yoga Plus, offering a free series every month with over 300 different videos. Take control of your health. Work out anytime, anywhere. Yoga Plus. Download now for free.